200 million years ago. The microcontinent was situated near the equator. The Western scientists called it Kazakhstania. The structure with almost full list of elements from the Mendeleev's table inside its depth. What secrets does Kazakhstan soil have? How rich is it? Natural resources are the history of our land for thousands of years. Kazakhstan is a unique treasury of mineral resources. It is the very heart of Eurasia, possessing the richest bowels. They keep over 100 of types of different mineral resources, containing almost all elements of the Mendeleev's periodic table. The history of developing mineral resources in these territories dates back to the times long before the country with the name Kazakhstan appeared. The people started to extract resources in the Stone Age. We are talking about Andronovo and Begazid-Dandebay culture of the Bronze Age and unique Sakha culture of the Iron Age. Initially, they used native copper, gold, iron and chalcedony to produce knives, arrowheads and jewelry. By learning how to melt metal, humans made a significant step and huge breakthrough in their technological development. Today, we could hardly imagine our life without TV sets, cars and different gadgets. And geologists made invaluable contribution into appearance of all these blessings of this civilization. Every deposit of mineral resources and every city which grew up in the territory, rich with underground treasures, owe their discovery to these pioneers. Monuments and memorials bear their names, as well as do cities, streets, schools, universities, and scientific institutions. One of them is the Institute of Geological Sciences, named after Kanish Satpayev. This is the talent center that has brought up several generations of experts in geology. Among them are stratigraphers who estimate age of the Earth based on rock formations, paleontologists who study organisms that disappeared millions of years ago, geophysicists who know the planet's anatomy as if they were experienced doctors, as well as experts in metallogeny, geotectonics, geochemistry, mineralogy, and hydrogeology. And everything started in the 30s of the last century from a small department of botany and zoology in the Scientific Academy of the Soviet Kazakhstan.
Когда в 40-м году уже сектор вырос немного, уже в нем...
In 1940, there were 30 employees in the Department of Botany and Zoology. And at that time, a question was raised to create a separate institute on the basis of this department. So, the Institute of Geological Sciences became the first institute in the system of scientific academies in the Kazakh Soviet Socialistic Republic. Thus, it exists since 1940, and Kanish Satpayev was appointed the director of the institute. Owing to the scientists of the Geology Institute, dozens of large deposits were discovered in Kazakhstan. One can study the history of the country by reading the chronicles of the institute. The 30s were marked with the discovery of large copper deposits, and central Kazakhstan became an industrial region. During the war, the USSR needed manganese and molybdenum to armor tanks, and the resources were found in Kazakhstan. Then followed the 50s, Cold War and arms race. The nuclear industry of the Soviet states required more and more uranium, and it was discovered in the Kazakh Kordai. Later, scientists discovered deposits of gold and multi-metal ores.
Это десятки отрядов выезжали обследование всей территории Казахстана.
Dozens of squads went to explore the territory of Kazakhstan and compose maps.
Металлогеническая карта, первая прогнозная
The first forecast metallogenic map of central Kazakhstan was created in our institute, although there was the All-Union Institute specializing in maps. But the map, created under the direction of Kanish Satpayev, has been recognized the only and unique worldwide. Later, our scientists were honored with the Lenin Award. That is why the Institute was the flagship of geological sciences, possessing huge number of personnel and skills. The establishment of the Institute coincided with the Great World War. At the time, Satpayev funneled all his energy into making huge reserves of the Kazakhstan earth's crust, self-defense of the motherland. Our country armed the troops with lead and copper for bullets and missiles. The major part of the military equipment was covered by armor made of Kazakhstani molybdenum and manganese. The high-grade manganese ores of Kazakhstan replaced reserves of deposits that were temporarily lost by Soviet troops.
Когда немцы заняли Никополь и Чатури, там в Грузии, где добывался марганец, который на уральских заводах.
When Germans occupied Nikopol and Chatory, where manganese, which was added to steel armor, was mined, the USSR was left almost without manganese.
Добывать марганец. И тогда ЦК и Сталин обратился ко всем с таким грозным письмом, где есть у нас.
And then, Central Committee and Stalin addressed an urgent letter to geologists to report about where there were manganese deposits.
Свои обоснования и сказал, марганец есть в Жизды.
And the very next day, Satpayev came to the Central Committee and provided evidences there were in Jizdy in central Kazakhstan. It was discovered together with copper and zinc. Thus, the extraction of ores could be approved and started without exploration. It took 38 days to construct a mine on the empty space, and extraction of manganese was started. That is how our Jizdy helped to continue production of steel. The Institute, with the history of almost 8 decades, endured different times, new discoveries, periods of growth and decay. After collapse of the Soviet Union, the flagship institution of the Kazakhstan geology was about to disappear.
Считаю, что одним из главных заслуг коллектива института.
I think that one of the main achievements of the Institute is keeping rich potential scientific researches after the collapse of Soviet Union and during establishment of independent Kazakhstan.
И в период становления незасуверенного Казахстана.
I would like to thank our scientists who have stored their developments and brought them to their modern state.
Наработки и довели его до современного состояния.
For 76 years, the specialists of the Institute of Geological Sciences have been adding assets to the unique base of mineral resources. They cover not only domestic needs of Kazakhstan, but also help the country to hold forward positions by explored reserves of mineral resources globally. And all of these happen due to the regional geology, a science studying the structure of the Earth's crust and its evolution. This is one of the most important directions, without which we would have found neither oil nor gold.
Если взять вот, допустим, уникальность Казахстана, начнем.
If we talk about the uniqueness of Kazakhstan, let's start with the western region.
Единственная, самая большая на земном шаре.
The Pre-Caspian Depression is the only huge depression in the world.
Яма, заполненная осадочными.
This is a huge structure, or in simple words, a pit filled with sedimentary rocks.
Как все знают, это.
Everybody knows that the Pre-Caspian Depression is the main source of oil for Kazakhstan.
Казахстан тоже уникальный регион с его многочисленными месторождениями различных полезных ископаемых.
Central Kazakhstan is also a unique region with its numerous deposits of mineral resources, including iron, polymetals, gold, rare earth metals and coal.
знаменитый тоже на весь мир. Восточный Казахстан
East Kazakhstan also has unique deposits.
геологической всего.
The entire territory of Kazakhstan is unique.
То есть вся территория Казахстана это уникальная.
Kazakhstan's economy is the biggest among Central Asian states. One of the key sectors is mining industry. It means the country continuously explores hydrocarbons, multi-metal ores and noble metals. All directions of geology connected to their mining are of a high demand. But before finding location for deposits, it's important to define what is hidden inside the bowels of Kazakhstan's land. And this is the task for regional geologists. They study specifics and changes in the structure of the Earth's crust.
В институте вообще работая на перспективу, скажем так, разрабатываются такие вот типы месторождений.
We're doing the work for the long run.
Золото
The Institute's specialists develop different types of deposits.
по черносланцевому месторождению,
For example, these are gold-bearing types.
рассыпным месторождением, так как
Scientists are also working on black shale and placer deposits.
0,5%. И
Several specialists think the territory of Kazakhstan is underestimated in terms of placer deposits and development perspectives.
Отработки.
One of the achievements of geological science is fundamental developments of gold-bearing deposits. Kazakhstan possesses epithermal lode ore deposits that had been formed as a result of volcanic activity. At some point, magma that came out of the Earth's crust mixed with cold groundwaters. Such deposits are mineralized along so-called branching faults of solid rocks. From the opinion of Kazakhstan scientists, presently the development of such deposits is beneficial.
В 2012 году в своем выступлении Нурсултан Абишевич Назарбаев он поставил задачу перед
In 2012, the president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, gave the task to the mineral resources sector to increase volume of gold extraction from 20 to 70 tons per year.
просто
It is possible due to development of new types of deposits.
вот прорывного типа. Вот последний тип месторождений изучается нашей группой, моей.
In particular, we have been researching new types of deposits during the last 10 years.
Последних 10 лет. И, в общем-то, мы глубоко
We have corresponding report and positive results.
темам.
Several objects have been evaluated. These are deposits that fully correspond with search criteria of volcanogenic type.
Критериям именно этому типу месторождения.
It is not only gold, which Kazakhstan is rich with. The country enters the top 20 of oil-producing countries. Many large hydrocarbon deposits were discovered by the pioneers of Kazakh geology. In 1956, the sector of oil and gas was created in the institute owing to Kanish Satpayev.
Все геологические карты
All of the geological maps, especially related to oil and gas sector, were developed in this particular institute. We have our own pioneers.
институт
The institute has made a huge contribution into the establishment of oil and gas sector. We are ready to work on all unexplored basins. There are opportunities in Caspian, Usturt, Mangyshlak and especially East Kazakhstan basins.
Мангышлакцы,
There are unexplored blank spots.
белый,
We are ready to work on eastern basins,
восток,
as well as Zaysan and Alakul ones. So, considering any basin, we can prove information and give direction on where to search for oil and gas. There are no doubts that uranium, oil, gold, and multi-metals are the key advantages of the country's resource-based economy. But today, rare earth elements that have higher value can be added to those factors. They increase durability of alloys and make gadgets quicker, lighter, and more compact. The term rare earth doesn't mean the amount of such elements is small. For instance, there are more cerium than lead, and the amount of some rare earth elements is 100 times more than gold. They are present in alluvial state with low content in big territories. Recently, people have started to quickly expand range of using rare earth elements. These are new fuel elements and new sources of energy. They will be widely used in car industry, for example. Besides, we're talking about sensors that are used in space equipment for soil testing. There is special covering for metals and optics. Thus, there is a wide range of application in different technical fields, especially in highly advanced. Today, the Institute thoroughly studies prospective areas and deposits in Central and East Kazakhstan. The specialists create 3D models of these deposits and define specifics of how minerals resources are distributed there and conditions of how they were formed. The leading countries in terms of rare earth elements are China and United States. According to our scientists, Kazakhstan possesses considerable reserves to enter this list. The main thing is that Kazakhstan has many rare earth deposits of different types and content. Almost all types of rare earth elements are extracted in Kazakhstan. A significant contribution made by the Institute into development of not only homeland but also world geology is 11 new minerals discovered by our scientists. All of them were found in the territory of Kazakhstan. There were many minerals discovered in Kazakhstan because our mineral resources make their presence felt. And the main thing about discovering minerals is the high level of research works that was not lost since the times of the Soviet Union. By the way, minerals have traditional names, such as Kazakhstanite and Kyrgyzstanite. Some of them bear names of famous scientists: Sokolovskite, Mitraevit, and even Gagarinite. It would be hard to make all these achievements without laboratories and specialists who managed to successfully explore these new minerals which the world did not know. The specialists from the sector of chemical and physical research were many times on the verge of big discoveries. Their hands are the first to touch new samples.
Целая серия атласов на 70 элементов, позволяющая анализировать 70 элементов.
A series of maps, about 70 elements, was created. All of them were widely used and distributed in all laboratories across Kazakhstan CIS. Another direction is to study rhenium and osmium. Rhenium, found in copper ores from Zhezkazgan, was discovered in our laboratory in 1959. The same year, scientists predicted presence of its daughter isotope, osmium-187. The samples of all these new minerals are carefully stored in the sector of mineral standards systematization. Decoding the planet's gene pool is daily routine of the Institute's employees. The sector of mineral standard systematization itself resembles a geological display, but it is not a museum. It is an entire scientific base consisting of almost 60,000 samples collected across Kazakhstan. This is a unique sample of quartz. The rock was huge, about 2 meters high, but unfortunately, when the specialists were extracting it, they used too much explosives, and only the top part was left. This pyramid now has its place here. The geologists value samples not because they are beautiful, but because they are unique. The first person who started to study mineral diversity of the Kazakhstan land was the founder of Homeland Geology Kanish Satpayev. During 5 years, he created his classification of minerals by their types. Today, based on his data, modern scientists make new discoveries. Every stone here, every sample of different elements, is like a piece of the planet's history, bearing particular information. In modern Kazakhstan, the institute starts integration into the world science. In 1916, the news magazine of the National Academy of Science, a series about geology and technical sciences, entered the databases of the Scopus International Rating. This is the largest database in the world, collecting over 21,000 scientific magazines. It will enable our scientists to integrate into the world scientific space by using experience of the world-known scientists, as well as share their own achievements globally. I would like to emphasize the achievements we made after declaring independence. During the last 25 years, the Institute scientists created near 80 monographies, over 30 regional and profiled maps that reflect modern data on geological structure of mineral resources, their location, as well as forecasts related to promising areas. A map is a necessary reference for every geologist who creates it based on his experience of exploring treasures hidden in the Earth's crust. Geologists use maps to make new discoveries of deposits unknown to humanity. Today, over 60 geological production facilities, scientific and research centers, and educational institutions successfully operate in Kazakhstan. Enrichment facilities were built on the explored deposits. It means that Kazakhstan geologists have achievements to be proud of. But scientists say that there are still enough white spaces on maps that could have unexplored rich deposits of the country.